Hello everyone. Go live, go live. Dun, 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 dun. Bing, bing, bing. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. This should be live now. This should be live now. Say hi if you're in the chat. Good morning, everybody. Or good evening. It's morning over here. As usual, I'm in a weird time zone. In case everybody didn't know. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna wait a few seconds for everyone to come in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another art stream. Today I am going to ink this cover for my comic Fiendish, which I posted pencils for yesterday. If you guys follow me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Hi, Elwin, what's up? Welcome. Hop in, hop in. As usual, feel free to hop in the chat. Just type in any comments or any questions you have. I'm here to, I want to talk about art, chat about comics or whatever. You know, this is a group experience. So come on in. Join me for this artistic experience. All right. Let's get started. Let's get started. All right. I've thrown this color overlay over my sketch layer. Just turn it down a little bit. Let's see. Oops, a little too light. And there's my title, but I'll turn it off. Alrighty. I was having some trouble with my Wacom pen settings earlier. So after I reinstalled Windows on my computer, everything was working fine except I was having like this weird lag on Photoshop. Turns out on Windows 8 or 10, you have to turn off this app called Windows Ink, or your Photoshop will be kind of laggy. Anyways, I've fixed it now, but yay, technology! It's been a wonderful week for technology. With technology for me, but hopefully nothing else decides to, you know, burn itself down today. All right, let's get started. Suppose, well, who should I start with? Ivar's in front, so let's start with Ivar. Let's go. Yay. Yay. Turn a few tabs off on my Chrome. I have like 50 million windows open. Sorry guys, I have an old computer. I always have to like manage the memory consumption. This is great. This is great! Oh my gosh! Okay. There we go. So at first, for the second cover here, I had a composition of just Ivar, because the story starts out with Ivar and Casimir, and I already did a cover of Casimir on the first cover. So I thought I'd just have kind of Ivar using his bow, but then I was like, I realized I should put Yomi, who's the girl in the back, on the cover as soon as possible, because I'm like, she's pretty important character, and she shows up at the end of chapter 1. Also, she's really cute, and I know people are gonna like her, so I was like, I have to put her on the cover. So I redrew everything, and now I have both Ivar and Yomi here. So I'm pretty happy with this composition. Pretty happy with how it's turned out. Drawing the this deer thing here was fun. technically not a deer. It's like I took well, it's not. What do you call those things? It's not a deer. I basically it's like kind of a deer, but I gave it a longer neck and gave it like weird ram horns, like gazelle horns. So it's weird. It's a weird looking animal, but I like it. I think I'm gonna do this thing in my comic where all the animals are basically fantasy versions of, or just like they're fantastical species. So I probably won't do many real life breeds or species or stuff. I mean, secretly it's a way to get out of actually having to draw animals, like 2 species accurate, like extremely accurate animals. But also, it's a way for me to have fun. So there's that. Make this a little thicker. No idea how long I'm gonna stream for today. Maybe until like 12 or so? We'll see. I feel like I do my streams for too long. Is there such a thing as streaming for too long? But like, you know, once I get a stream all set up and stuff, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna keep on drawing, and I'll be drawing for the rest of the day, so there's no reason for me to stop. So it's like, well, people probably will be put off by 3-hour-long streams. I don't know. Time management, what is that? I'll probably stream till like 12 or so when I decide to get lunch, maybe. Or maybe not. I skip lunch a lot. Probably just keep on drawing. So I'm thinking of, hopefully I can get to streaming twice a week. I know a while ago I had decided, like at the beginning of the year, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to do a stream like every week, but that was, some things came up and it was really difficult to do that like every single week. But half of it was computer problems, but I'll try to get back to that now. And you know, see if I can get to, I don't know what time works best for everybody. I'm thinking Tuesday evenings and maybe Thursdays? I don't know. I streamed last Saturday, but I feel like the weekends aren't a really good time, right? Like, I feel like people would prefer to hop on and watch an art stream like after work or so, right? On like a work day, so I don't know. Not sure. You guys let me know. Let me know. Ah, no. I don't want to listen to myself. Let me open, let me make sure I can see the chat. I feel like people would prefer to... Ah, no, I don't want to listen to myself. You. Where are the comments? Hold on, y'all. Let me pull up the comments on my phone so I can see what everyone is saying. Boop, 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 boop. No. Oh, I have the comments and reactions hidden. Okay. There we go. Now it's showing up on the screen. Hey. Hey, how much am I going to get done? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to... Let's see. I should just try to get most of Evar done, maybe. Yeah, let's go for that. I don't know, maybe I'll get their faces done. People like seeing faces more. So I will probably do like Eva and Yomi and get their faces done. I'd rather do a long stream. I mean, I'm going to be working all day anyway, so I'll just go and like, you know, I don't know, midnight, 1, I don't know. I'll just get as much done as possible till I feel like I actually need to get up and go have a life. What's up, Hank? Welcome, welcome everybody. Hop in, hop in. So usually when I start inking a character, I have, like, I do the, this is like the base layer for just the face shape. And I've been trying to keep my layer count under control, which is a problem. So if it's possible, I try to do like the hair on the same layer. Eva has pretty simple hair, so I think we're gonna do that. That'll be completely feasible. Let's see. Add a little hatching here and there. Try to add in a lot of hatching to my ink so there's like some texture. I like things to be very textural, you know? He actually has like a kind of a weird haircut. Well, it's like normal short hair from the front with like this V shape, but in the back he has like a rat tail. So I guess you can't see that now, but it's kind of weird hair. I don't know. I give my characters weird hairstyles. Eh. There we go. So let me save real quick. Oh, one second. Sorry about that. Right. Save. Sometimes wonder if I make him look a little too young. I don't know. Like, I have this problem where I want to do comics that are more, I don't know, like, it's not particularly cutesy. Like my comic is mostly horror and a lot of action stuff, but like I tend to draw people I tend to draw cutesy and like, you know, cutesy characters and cute animals and things that I tend to draw people looking younger than they are. So it's a problem. Everybody thinks like, oh, this is like a cute comic. No, it's not. They're monsters and everybody dies. It's really not that cute. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. No. Hope he looks his age. He's like 15. I think that's, hopefully. So I'm doing the lines a lot more detailed and a lot more carefully than I normally do because this is a cover. Obviously on interior pages I really don't go into that much detail. Like, this is a lot more detailed than I would do my interior pages on. Like, if I was doing interiors and I had to draw this every single panel, I would just never get this comic done. So like all the, you know, the little details on like the reins and stuff, on like the deer and like the details on his, you know, arm guards, like I don't think I would actually draw them on interior pages. Like, covers are extra detail and extra work. It's just how it goes. You want to make the covers extra pretty. It's how you rope them in. Ah ha ha ha. Check my brushes right. Oh, come on. That is the right brush. Again, if anybody has any questions or comments, just tap them in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on the stream chat, so you know, feel free to just hop in and talk about whatever. Talk about whatever. You. Yeah, I don't know how much I'm gonna get done today. I think at least I'll get Evars. Like, I think I'll get, I don't know, Evar and Yomi. I'll try to get the faces done. I think let's do that. How about that? Let's do that. I always think I'll stream until about like midnight or so because I figure nobody would be watching after midnight. Everybody would actually be going to sleep. But then like every time I end my streams at midnight, there are like 7 people still watching because I guess all my friends are night owls. Just like me. It's cool. I'm glad. I'm glad. I gotta turn the pressure on my eraser on more. Why is the pressure so low? Stupid Photoshop. Here we go. Switch to this brush. Alright. That's better. Stupid Photoshop. Alright. It doesn't look right. Honestly, his hair is really, it looks simple because it's like, oh, it's just a short hairstyle. It's actually a pain to draw. It's a lot more of a pain to draw this than like long hair. That's all like, I have a lot of characters that have long hair that's all braided really elaborately. That's honestly not that difficult because I find braids and stuff really easy to draw. This is kind of a pain. Because you have to like make sure all the strands of his hair are in perspective to like the curvature of his skull. Things you don't think about when designing characters. Or honestly, it's just because I put way too much detail into this. Way too much detail into this. Word. Kind of low energy today. I feel just weird because I was up really early. It's like 9:20 over here, and I was up at like 6. Or no, I got up at like 5, and I've been like drawing since then, and like I don't know, paying bills, replying to emails, and trying to be a functional adult, and now I'm just. I have not had enough coffee. Here, my coffee's right here. I need to chug more of this. Very important. Let's check my audio. Yes, that looks good. Let me know if my audio sounds weird, by the way. Sometimes my audio, my music is like wonky, or my music will be too loud or whatever. I'm still experimenting with this setup. I'm still a newbie streamer. I don't know what I'm doing. Needs more coffee. Excuse me. If I'm all sniffly and coffee for a bit, forgive me. Like I said last week, I still have a very slight bit of a cold. Cause, thank you, temperature swings. I swear it was like, you'd think summer in Taiwan would be really warm and, you know, it's tropical island and it is kind of just sweltering hot most of the time, but like yesterday it started thunderstorming and it was chilly all night. Like, I mean, I guess that's kind of nice, but it's just the temperature swings and it just makes me, it always gives me a cold. It's insufferable. Damn you, nature! Ah! This hair is going faster than I thought. Yay! Ooh, what a thunk. Oh yeah, if you guys are enjoying this stream, if you like any of my streams, if you want to support my comic, please help me share my streams or share the link to my comics Patreon or just, you know, share my art page or whatever. Help me get the word out. Help me share, you know, share the stuff I want to. I'm trying to like build more of an audience for my comic, and I'm trying to I also just like to share art and like, you know, talk about comics and stuff. But it really helps if people just click like and share. So if you enjoy my stuff, do that. Yeah. It helps a lot. It really is pretty difficult though. Like, I mean, everyone, like, you know, indie comics are difficult going into, like, when you go into doing indie comics, of course, you know, oh yeah, it's gonna take time and it, you know, you'll need some savings and you won't be making money up front, and you kind of know this, but it's one thing to kind of know that and it's another to experience it. So, you know, it's a journey. It definitely takes a lot of patience, and you have to plan for it. And you know, I planned for like a couple of years in advance. I was like, okay, I want to be able to take time off of like a full-time day job and focus on developing a creator-owned comic, because I'm like the kind of project I want to do, that's what it would take. It wasn't just some nilly-willy thing I could work on after a day job, you know, just a couple of hours a week. No, I wanted to do something that I needed to just spend every day on all the time. I had to put 100% of my energy into. So I'm a little crazy is basically what I'm saying, but like I knew I wanted to take a shot at a project like that. So that's what this is, and I know it might not be successful. I think it's a pretty good project, but you never know. There's, you know, it's like if you can market it well, there are other factors that come into like, you know, marketing and like, if you can find your audience, but regardless, I'm willing to take the risk. So doing indie comics is a risk, but because I love comics, I'm willing to take it. Oh man, it really is, man, it really is something else though. I think the hardest part is when you're doing like it's sort of whiplash at the beginning, because when you're working on established franchises, it's really easy to get sort of eyes on it, so to say, and there's already an audience for example, if you're working on a book for Marvel, or if you're drawing like Spider-Man, or if you're drawing Game of Thrones, or fan art, it's like people, it's easy to get eyes on that. But if you're doing your original property or something completely new, like you can make the art really good, you can, you know, have a cool concept, but you're never going to get as many eyes on it as something that's already established as like fan art, or if you're like, hey, look, I did an issue of Spider-Man last month. So that's kind of rough at first. So it's like, it's sort of, you know, just taking your confidence, just like smearing it in the ground. But you get used to it. You get used to having your self-confidence rubbed in the dirt. That's fine. That's fine. Everything is fine. But you know, I believe it'll be worth it. I really want to do, I want to do this comic, right? Like doing a creator-owned comic has always been my dream. So I guess even if I end up broke and under a bridge, I'm committed to making this happen. Yay! Yay! The things we do for love. Oops. What's that? Let me save. Save real quick. Save, 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 save. Come on. Alrighty. There we go. Yeah. This hair is gonna take forever. My word. My word. Alright, I can go a lot faster at this. Come on. Try to add like some extra little texture lines at the ends of his hair strands. Adds a little more dimensionality to his hair. It's kind of like integrating a bit of the shading into it as well. Like, I like to make my ink work really textural. So, I mean, when I color, I also do a lot of detail, but I like to have a lot of detail in the ink work as well. So I like my inks to be like nice and detailed, and also just like textury. Like I want you to be able to feel the texture through the inks, you know? I like that kind of inks. I like that way. Kind of jealous of people that have like really loose, just inky styles. Like mostly traditional artists. A lot of traditional artists have like really loose inky style. They just take like a brush pen and like they just, you know, kind of scribble a bit and use like really big strokes. And like, I mean, I can do a style like that, but it's not really what I like to do. I don't know why. I just like sort of, I feel like my main, well, I really liked Mobius when I started doing comics, so that's a big influence. Mobius and I guess of course Katsuhiro Otomo. Let's see. Well, Naoki Urasawa, but his style isn't really detailed. I guess that's more, he's actually a really good writer. I like his story structure. By the way, if you guys have never read a manga called 20th Century Boys, you should read it because it's awesome. It's really, really good. It's so 60s and so fun. Kind of like kitschy. I don't know if that's like the right word for it, but it's fun, and it's like the plot is like really is like, it kind of jumps all over the place, but it kind of just all fits together. It's really cool. You guys should read it. It's a great comic. But yeah, who else? Who else? What other comic artists? Oh my god, I'm blanking on the artist who drew Black Sad. I'm terrible. The Black Sad artist is also a big influence. Though he doesn't do so much detailed lines, he does really good motion. So I had a lot of trouble drawing motion and force when I first started out, so I would look at, like, Black Sad was a huge reference. Oops, that was a mistake. I would like reference that comic to try and fix, you know, fix my work and adjust my style. Oh, Juanjo Guarnido, yes. Now I remember. Durr. Yeah, the artist on Black Sad is called Juanjo Guarnido. And I think Guarnido worked for Disney as well, which it shows. He has really animated style. So that's one artist that, yeah, I love the art on Black Sad. It's so good. I almost said the Bleach artist, but no. I did read a big chunk of, I did read some Bleach until it got kind of weird and the artist kind of lost interest, pretty obviously. But no, the artist that did Slam Dunk and Vagabond, Takehiko Inoue, is another really big influence. I love his work. It's so good, so good, so good. And it's super detailed. It's one of those really artsy manga. You don't see a lot of manga that's like, you know, really detail focused and like cinematic like that. But Vagabond is one of those rare ones. Vagabond, I mean, Berserk, of course. I've been trying to recommend Vinland Saga, which is a relatively new series. I mean, not really new. I think it started like, I don't know, it's been a while. It started like 2010. I don't know when Vinland Saga started, but it's such a good freaking comic. It's really fantastic. There's an anime coming out this year by Studio Wit, which y'all should check out. It looks like it's gonna be fantastic. Fantastic. I love the story. I mean, I might be a little biased because it's historical and it's set in like the Viking Age, and I like historical, you know, I like Viking stuff. I might be a little biased, but it's cool. Besides from like just the setting and the cool factor of the setting and stuff, it has a really good story. So, highly recommend it. A lot bloodier than you would expect. Like, I mean, I guess usually you would expect, well, historical comics could be, like, it's about war and stuff, but you'd expect a fantasy comic to be more bloody and gory because you can, like, push reality a little more, but I think Vinland Saga does a pretty good job of still being just, like, absolutely disgustingly bloody. It's fantastic. I love it. I like bloody things. So great. I think, ooh, that's pretty much his hair. That looks okay, right? I think that's alright. What do you guys think? Eh, sure. Probably come back and nitpick at it a little more later, but that's done for now. Let's add some more strands in here. Try to vary my line weight a little bit, so like strands where the hair has more separation than the layer of hair underneath, I make the lines a little thicker. It's really subtle, but you know, you kind of learn to, oh god damn it, keep on forgetting to press my shortcut key. Kind of learn to instinctually do it after a while. Oh, for heaven's sake. Keyboard! Keyboard disconnected. I love technology. There we go. That's why it wasn't turning on. Alrighty. Top of his hair looks a little, it's like it's popping out a little. Yeah, that looks kind of weird. Let me bring that down just a, see, this is why I like working digitally. It's really easy to adjust things when you make mistakes. I love it. Yay. I feel like that layer of hair is just a little too high up. So I'll bring that down a little. Really nitpicky in case you can't tell. Alright. Moving on. I say moving on as I continue to noodle on the hair. Like, I try to, you know, see, I want to thicken the, like, the edge of the hair at the border between his hair and his skin, you see? To, again, add some more depth. And keep in mind that the lighting, this is pretty natural lighting, so the lighting would be just like kind of in general from above, it would be sunlight. So in some areas it would help to like have the contours of an object be thicker at the bottom because the light is coming from the top. Just very subtly, like it's all, I mean, inking is honestly pretty, it's pretty subtle work, and things like your line weight and the small hatching details you add, it's really, it seems like it's not much, but it adds up. So overall as a whole, like it's a small, it's small grains that make a, I don't know, make a pile, I guess. That's a terrible analogy, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It adds up. It's all in the detail work. Sideburns a little too long. Let me add some. Ooh. I feel like this line is a little too prominent here. I'll lighten this up a bit because his head is turned. So that line where his jaw connects to his neck wouldn't be that sharp. So I'm gonna line this up a little. Well, his jaw should be sharp. I mean, softer. Makes him look a little too old. There we go. That's pretty soft jawline still. It's pretty young. Like the whole structure of his face is he has a like kind of snub nose, bit of a long face, but his jawline is still pretty soft. So to be careful to like, it's a very nuanced balance with drawing him right now. So I can't make him look too young or too old. Gotta get it just right. Alrighty. Is the neck too thick? I feel like it is. Ooh, let me move that line over here a bit. Sorry. Ah. Sure, that works. Yeah, that's fine, right? That's fine. Let's save. There. Hair's all done. Awesome. What's it? Grab that water. Hoi. Ow. All right. I feel like something's off, but it might just be me being overly anxious. Top of his hair. Yeah, I'll probably tweak the top of his hair more later, but that's okay for now. Let's move on. So, let me name that layer EVAR1. Oh, you guys can't see my layer panel on the stream, but I keep everything very organized. Let me pull my layer panel over to show y'all. So, I'm super organized. I have a lot of layers, but I name everything. So this is my sketch. I should name my, no, I should color. Let me set a color to my sketch layer. So I usually do, that's violet. Like most of my files, everything is freaking color coded and shit, and like every single layer is named. So I might have 50 million layers and 30 million smart objects nested within each other, but everything is organized and I know exactly where everything is. So that's EVAR1, and let's do EVAR2. Yay! Yay! Here we go. Ah, go back. I hate everything. Pew, pew, pew. Go away. Alright. And let's start with the face. Aww. Now it's the fun part. So I do really detailed eyes. I always have like, if the camera is close enough, I always have like, I draw the water line in and everything, like super detailed eyes, but they're still shaped like anime eyes, so I have a weird style. I know. I forgot who I heard this tip from, but well, I think it's kind of well-known, like a well-known mantra among character designers, but you want to make sure all your characters, especially your main cast, have distinctive eyes. So it helps when you're designing characters to, like the eyes are really important because readers always focus on eyes, and a lot of comic artists have same face syndrome. Not that, I mean, it could be a good thing, but I feel like you have to find a balance because you want to have a type of, you want to like draw your faces in a kind of iconic way where people will like recognize that's your style as soon as they see a face or a character that's designed by you. But you also want to have like a little push and pull, a little variation. So drawing characters with different eyes, giving all your main cast like different eyes is really helpful. Also like, well, one thing that I'm doing, but that's because I realize with the way I stage scenes and with the way like I sort of design shots, I have a lot of close-ups of like hands or feet, and like especially because it's a really action-y comic, sometimes I'll just have like you know, I won't show the full body. I'll just have like a foot, one character's foot in a shot kicking a monster, but then you have to be able to tell whose foot that is. So it helps to give, like, if your comic is going to have a lot of shots like that, give your characters like distinctive hands or distinctive footwear and handwear. Like my main character Cosmere has like these sort of X-shaped hand wraps. So you guys will see that if you go check out comic. So that's another thing I try to take into account. Oops. Whoopsie daisy. So Ivar has kind of these weird eyes that are kind of in between round and boxy. So like his irises, it's a slightly anime thing. Like his irises are a little long, like tall. And his eye shape is like a rounded box. That's generally what his eyes look like. I felt like that was a very suiting shape language for him, because his character is supposed to be, he's really kind and he's empathetic, but he's also pretty tough. He's a fighter. He's Cosmere's apprentice, basically de facto apprentice, and so he's pretty young and he's still learning. Like he's learning to be a hunter, and he wants to like learn to be independent, learn a trade, and learn to be self-sufficient. And he's still pretty young, but he's pretty tough because he spends a lot of time in the mountains, just in the middle of nowhere with Cosmere. So even though like in my comic, you know, it's a pre-industrial society and people live closer to nature, and like if you do research on that kind of like what society was like in those times, it's so fascinating. Just like people were a lot tougher back then, but they just like live in nature and they're really used to, you know, being surrounded by the wilderness. But even for that society, Ivar would kind of be on like the more self-sufficient and nature-oriented side. So you know, but he's very empathetic, and he's kind to strangers, and he's sort of the my main character Cosmere is extremely antisocial. He's a giant jerk, or that's how he comes off as at first. I don't know why I find it so fun to write characters that are just complete dicks, but well, I thought it'd be interesting. Like, it's part of his character development, and it's a character flaw. But I felt like I realized to balance that out, I kind of needed a character that was more sympathetic and wasn't completely insufferable. So that's the role that Ivar plays, and he's sort of he tempers Cosmere's nature, and he kind of like questions away other people and does things. He's very calm. So I try to reflect that in how I design him as well. So yeah, I want him to look personable, but not like too soft, if you know what I mean. And now, like, you see Yomi over here, she also has a really round eyes, but they're more like, she's my most anime character. I tell people, because, well, she's my cutesy moe anime character. I'll just be completely honest about that. But I guess her personality is more, I guess, spunky, I guess, is the best way to describe her. She's really, really animated, and she's like, I can't think of an English word. I think of the Chinese word, huopo. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, that's her personality, and so I wanted her to have like a really expressive face, right? And like her ears, she's not human, obviously. I know this, like the sketch makes her look like an elf, but she's not. She's a race that I made up called the Ulanke. And because without the color, she looks like an elf, but she's like purple. So they have like purple skin of various shades, and like sometimes their hair is purple and their eyes are like bluish or gold, but it's not technically an elf, and they have tails. So, but yeah, but it kind of was a happy coincidence that she has like these big ears, and I can use that to like act and stuff. And like when she's scared, her ears go down, and when she's like listening to something, her ears and perk up. So she's super animated, and she's a very determined character. So I try to like design her with a face that could exemplify that. Yep. Enough talking, get back to work. Jeez, I just talk so much. I don't know how to shut up. My God. You guys aren't here to listen to me talk. You guys want to see some drawing. I'm just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Ooh, that's not balanced. Wow. Let's see. I feel like the line under his eye is a little too thick there. Does that look balanced? That looks balanced, right? Sure, yeah. That looks about symmetrical. Let's pretend it is. Let me fix the outline of his face there a little bit. Alright. Alright. No. Ooh, this needs to be a little thicker. Hairs in my eye. Ah! No, it's too thick. No. That's good enough. And now I'll do eyelids. Again, eyes are super important, so I tend to spend a lot more time on the eyes and put a lot of detail into them. We're like programmed to look at faces and eyes and really focus on that. So it never hurts to put some extra work into how you draw eyes and faces. There we go. Don't want that to be too thick. There. All right. Okay. So I haven't designed how Ivra will look older yet. This comic, it's gonna get done. Not if it's gonna get done. It will get done. But the story, I told a friend that the story is designed to span about like 5 or 6 years. It sounds like a long time, like the actual in-story world. It's like it covers about 5 or 6 years. Sounds like a really long time, but it's technically not. There are like several years in between. It's kind of a mild time jump, like I montage over a lot of things happening. There's a section where I jump between several characters' development and like I kind of speed things up a bit. And there's a reason that I jump forward, 5 years or 6 years or so. But yeah, so from beginning to end, it's like about 5 or 6 years. So the characters age up quite a bit, especially younger characters. So I haven't designed how Eva will look older yet, but I feel like we can take care of that when we get to it. But I'm looking forward to it. I wonder what he would look like when he's older. We shall see. We shall see. That's a little too thick. Alright. That's okay. Yeah, okay. Eyelids are done. Now I'm just gonna add some little extra marks and stuff around the eyes. Like I try to, like right here, there's usually a little bump right inside, on the inside of your eyes. So, little detail here. I add a little bit more lines down here as well. Like it gives your character's eyes a little depth, like some more expressiveness. But just really faint light lines like that. Boop, boop, boop. I feel like it's a little too dark. Now it looks like he has like eye bags from lack of sleep. No, I want him to be lighter. There you go. That's good. Yeah. There you go. That's alright. I guess I'll do the eyebrows on the same layer. Sure, why not? Ooh, let's save first. Always save, kids. Saving is important. Lessons I've learned the hard way. Save more. Let me chug some more coffee, refuel a bit. It's been a really sluggish day because it's like really overcast outside. It was raining really hard last night, and now it's like just super overcast. So it's nice because it's not sweltering hot, but now it's also, it's not all sunny and cheery, so super low energy. Ugh, I'm so lazy. What's wrong with me? I need to stop being such a lazy bum. Boop. Hi, Tim. Thank ya. Glad you like it. Ah! What did I do? There we go. My keyboard has a little lag sometimes. I need to get a new keyboard. So sometimes like my shortcut keys I set like custom shortcut keys to everything. Sometimes it lags a little bit. So like if I'm turning, like using the turn tool, my keyboard will lag, so I'll like instead still be on the brush tool. Anyways, it's a pain. But hey, that's what undo is for. I should just switch to my Bluetooth keyboard. This is my USB keyboard. Man. Technology is so annoying. Ah, see? Just like that. You guys see that happening? That's why. It's because my keyboard has a lag. It's alright. I've managed to deal with it. It's really annoying, but I'll manage. Oh my god. But I want to get like a good keyboard, but I already dropped like a bunch of cash on well, I spent a good chunk of money on this microphone, but that was a few months ago. But I just got like this huge cooling stand for my computer to keep it cool, because I have like a really high performance computer and it overheats like hell. It's basically a mini jet engine. I have like 2 fans in the cooling stand. I have a 3rd fan set up, like all just like bellowing like cold air towards it to keep it from imploding. But it's great. I love. Thank you, Wacom. I mean, no, sincerely, thank you. I love my computer, but really, it overheats. Y'all need to do something about it. Gotta check out the new Wacoms. I have a Wacom store in my town. I like this technology place. I should go see if they have like the Studio Pro. Maybe they do. Maybe they just have like less fancy stuff like Intuos, but and they should have a Studio Pro. I should go check it out. There's also this what was the tablet that is a Huawei or whatever. There's like this Chinese brand of tablet that a lot of people have. They're like, oh, it's like a Wacom alternative. So I don't know how good it is, but I tested one out at like this convention in Taipei a while ago. It was decent. I still feel like Wacom's better, but I mean, I've been using Wacoms for so long. It's hard to like lower your standards. Like you really feel it, especially if you're doing inks. I feel like if you're doing coloring, maybe it's not as necessary to be that picky about pressure sensitivity and accuracy, but if you're doing inks, you will be very picky about sensitivity, and it has to be very accurate. The lines have to be very smooth. So, and it has to have like, I want something with smoothing built in. I mean, you can get Lazy Nezumi and stuff and some plugin to mitigate really bad, pen and screen coordination, but I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather just have it built in. And the one that the Cintiqs have built into them are really good. So, I know. I still feel like sticking with Wacoms. Though, it's just my computer's really old. This thing is like 6 years old. Frankly, it's a miracle it's still working. It's a miracle. Magical? This is magical. It's not magical. You're magical, Tim. Oh, by the way, yeah, if anyone has just joined the stream, if you have any questions or comments or just want to chat about stuff, just type it in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on the chat on my phone over here, so feel free to hop in, talk about whatever, ask some questions. That's what I'm here for. I wanna talk about art and comics and all kinds of stuff. So if there's anything you'd like to know about my comic, you can ask away. I feel like I yap on about my comic a lot, but I feel like I know there's anything I'm unclear about, feel free to ask. Alright. Look at those pretty eyebrows. Hey! Alright. Guess let's do the nose now. So I'm gonna do all his features, like the base, his nose, his mouth, and then I'm gonna open another layer and I'm gonna do some more detailing. So I'll have another layer. I'll do the details on his eyebrows, the irises, then the lashes. Yes, I do very detailed faces. So let's do that. Let's finish the nose now. So start at this area of the face with some more fine lines, because the separation, see, the separation between like here and here, the distance is not really that deep as opposed to here and here, right? If you're looking at a face from whatchamacallit, I don't know what this angle is called. Chiffon. English is hard, but anyways, you know what I mean. The depth is not that extreme. So just use some really fine lines. Really fine lines. And noses are tricky. Noses are really tricky. It took me a while to sort of get, like, nail down the style I like to draw noses in. But tip, if you draw characters with, if you can draw characters with distinctive noses, that's another way to really help your character designs come to life and differentiate your characters. Because like the nose is something that usually, you know, we don't pay as much attention to it, but it's kind of like in the background of our consciousness when we look at a face. So it's like smack dab in the middle of the face. We tend to focus on eyes, but the nose is kind of the secondary importance. So if you can give your characters unique noses, that adds a lot of personality and a lot of individuality to your character design. So get good at drawing noses, I guess. Noses are important. I do this weird thing where I outline the tip of the nose. Just a thing I do. So Eva has kind of a really weird nose, like a snub nose. It's very subtle, but his nose like if his nose is straight, the tip of his nose comes up just a little bit, and his nose is just a little shorter than average. So it's subtle things like that, and if you keep it in mind, readers will notice, even if it's subconsciously. So I'm drawing his nose like slightly wider, like kind of a button nose, like that. And I'm gonna add some lines to the top over here, like that. So I got an itch. Like that. Turn the pencils down a little bit, actually. It's a little too. Pencils are a little too the opacity's a little too high. Alright, there we go. Alrighty. Alrighty. There we go. Like that. There's his nosy. And you can add a little texture to the tip of like nose tips as well, like here. Like it depends on the character and situation, but for example, if someone is like coming in from like a storm or something, and like, you know, they just like they'd have like a red nose and a really ruddy face, you can do this thing. I'm gonna just do it on an extra layer. Like you could, for example, do this effect of like having a lot of close hatch lines like that, you know, but then erase a little shiny spot. See? That's a nice way of adding a little like ruddiness or redness. And you can do that on the nose as well. Like his nose isn't particularly red, but you could, like, if like he has a cold or something, this is a cold nose. See, like that. Something like that. Yeah. I don't want to do that here, but you can. Just tips. How to add a little texture to your faces. Let's see. I have my image mirrored on my second screen. So I can kind of zoom out and take a look. Keep an eye on consistency. It's a little too dark. Alright. I think that's alright. That's alright for now. Yeah, okay. And add a little, some more subtle lines here as well. That's like the, there's like a kind of triangular plane, like right here, you know, on the sides of your nose. Because your nose doesn't just, it doesn't just like go up sharply. There's a slope. So there's a slope that gets sharper once like the flesh reaches when you get to like the nostril area, but then it kind of tapers out into like this triangular area, and then it comes back in to like a more sharper incline right at the inner edges of the eyes. So this area here, have some shading right over there. Usually there'd be some shadow there because of that shape. So there you go, just like that. Yay! Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Pew pew pew. Ah. Alright, let's move on to the mouth. Mouth. Pretty simple. His mouth is closed. Nothing. Nothing particularly poignant to say about this. Obviously, the center part of a mouth has more depth than the edges, so you want to tape your lines out a little bit. I mean, you can also, like, it's just my style, I don't tend to do this, but you can also add a little, like, a lot of artists add a little, you know, extra, like, shading or a little, like, extra notch at the edges of the lips. But that's not really my style, but you can do that. I would do it for, depending on character. Some people have more like a little dimple at the edges of their mouths. Like I do it when I draw children more, but not for every character. Make sure this is symmetrical. Sure. Yeah, he doesn't have a very particularly, you know, specially shaped mouth. It's very average. So, I guess it's pretty simple. His face is looking down slightly, as you can see from the perspective line. So, the top lip would be slightly going down like that. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of the upper lip in, just very lightly, and the bottom lip as well. Again, the depth of the bottom lip, obviously, like this is the proper, the main line of the mouth, that's the opening, so that would be a deeper cut than here, where it's just a dip under the lip. So here you can kind of just use like some, I call them chicken scratch lines. You can call it whatever you want, but this is chicken scratch. So chicken scratch the bottom of your lip. Chicken scratch your details around your eyes and noses, and just add chicken scratch everywhere. It'll make your art look better. Ding! There's my advice. I give great advice. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what things are called. Hatch lines. There's the proper term. Yeah, there you go. That's a little too, that shape is a little weird. Okay, there you go. Yeah, see there would be more depth to the center of like, you know, the edge under the lips, but then it tapers out a bit at the end, so you can like taper out that line towards the sides, as you can see over here. So, little tips. Pretty easy. And so I have a character with like fuller lips, I could do some more explanation and some more fancy tricks in that area, but he doesn't really have like particularly notable lips. So I think that's it for now. Oh no, this side is a little too high. No, it's too low. Let me fix that. There you go. I think that looks right. Whatever. Sure. Alright, let's move on. Alright. I'll probably come back and tweak that later. That's alright for now, though. Yeah. Okay. His chin is a little strange. So let me tweak that as well. Did you guys know I'm really OCD and I'm always overworking things? Yeah, I am. Ah! Oh, stupid. Thicken that line over there a bit. Just very subtly. Have some shading under his chin later too, but I can take care of that later. Oops. Alright. Alrighty. Let me save. Let's zoom out a bit. Look at how things are looking so far. It's decent. Again, I'm going a lot more detailed than I normally do for pages. But again, this is a cover. I feel like his eyes are a little too big. What do you guys think? I think there's, well, oh, the edge of that eye. Where's his head? I should think it's alright. Let me tweak his hair a little bit. Talk about nitpicky. The best part of the stream is my random self-talk. Yes, I talk to myself a lot. Well, I mean, I feel like if I'm doing a drawing stream, I want to share my process, so I don't know how else to do that other than just talk to myself like a crazy person. So as long as I'm entertaining you, that's what I'm here for. I'm glad my crazy, my talking to myself like a crazy person entertains you. That's all I desire in life. All I want is your entertainment. No, that's, get out, wrong selection, go away. Ah! Nope. Oh my god. Oh, shortcut. Let's see. I'll leave it alone for now. Alright, let's move on. Moving on. Moving on. I'm glad you're entertained. I talk to myself when I draw like a crazy person. Yay! As long as it's entertaining for you. Normally scream, Tim? Okay. That's, hey, whatever works for you, man. Talking to yourself, screaming, whatever works. Alright, so it's a new layer. Let's add some detail. Some detail on the eyebrows. So I'm gonna kind of vary these like hatchy lines a bit, the thickness, just like I was doing with the hair. Just like I was doing with the hair, like that. Stagger them a little bit. Always adds a little texture to the eyebrows. Like that. Let's see. Yeah, and his hair can have some more lines and texture in it because it's not that light. It's colored, or it's like it's not like black or brown, but it's like reddish. So I probably wouldn't add so many hatch line if it was like really light hair, but it's not that light, so there can be some shading in it. So I can add a lot of more texture lines and stuff. So there you go. There you go. Yay. I'm gonna draw pupils. See. Hold on. Pardon me. So like a mild runny nose. So gross. Pardon me. I suffer for my art. Vroom, behold eyes. Just kidding. Let me, another thing you can do if you're having program problems is, oh, my menus aren't showing up on the stream, but you can just you can purge your histories and purge your caches on Photoshop. That helps. Pro tips for if you're having program lag, because that's what we all deal with. All right. Moving on. Irises. Whee. Dun 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 dun. So again, Ivar has kind of different, well, not different. And his iris shape is kind of like tall. It's a very anime thing. But so see, the shape for it isn't completely round, so make sure we draw that in here. And usually I want to make sure the lines towards the top of the pupil are a little bit thicker, because it's under the shadow of the eyelid, that's why. So the top of the pupil have slightly thicker outlines. So that's uneven. Fix that. Jeremy asks, do I use Manga Studio for my inks or just Photoshop? Just Photoshop now. I have used Manga Studio before, and I do have the program. It's pretty good, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm just more used to Photoshop. I'm already like, I've been using Photoshop since I was like 15, so it's completely natural to me. And Manga Studio is great. Back when, before I, like the newer version of Photoshop, when the smoothing for inking wasn't as, well, it wasn't as smooth, I would use Manga Studio for inking. I used it for a while to mitigate that, because Manga Studio had better smoothing built in. And I still might go and use it, because they have really good texture brushes and stuff, and they also have multiple page output built in, just like InDesign, because it's made to export comics. But no, I might use it to do some touch-up work and like lettering and stuff when I export everything, you know. But right now, for all the drawing and sketching and ink work, shading, whatever, I'm doing it in Photoshop just because I'm so used to it. It's faster to just do it in Photoshop as opposed to like learn a new process in Manga Studio. It's a good program though. I'm glad I have it. It also has a pretty good perspective tool. I think its perspective tool is better than Photoshop. And it has, well, Photoshop also has 3D, but I never used Photoshop's 3D. Manga Studio comes with 3D human models as base if you need that. So if anyone is wondering what's the difference. Yeah, Manga Studio / Clip Studio Paint. It's made for drawing comics / manga. So there are things about it that are beneficial for comic artists, but no. I'm just so used to Photoshop already. So I do this thing where I add like a little light spot at the center of the pupil. Not really any reasoning for it. I just have realized it adds some more depth to the eyes. So it's really subtle, but I think, you know, people will notice. My pupil needs to be a little larger. You notice that, oh, my lines are smooth in Photoshop. I was wondering if Photoshop improved their brushes or added a smoothing function. I think Photoshop has improved since I was using Manga Studio, because I definitely, when I started using Manga Studio had better smoothing than Photoshop. But I feel like Photoshop was like, I don't know if it was like a direct competition thing, but they've definitely improved their smoothing. So, also it depends on the machine. I actually think it's a combination of newer versions of Photoshop. I'm using the newest version of Photoshop, and it's also the Cintiq. So I think the Cintiq has really good smoothing, because when I use the same version of Photoshop on my Surface Pro, the lines aren't as smooth, and I have to use the Lazy Nesme plugin to kind of smooth out my lines a bit. And even then, it's not really as good. So I think it's also just the Cintiq has really good light pressure sensitivity. Yeah, or I'm just that smooth with drawing my lines, or whatever. No, I'm not. It's just like the interface though. I am really more used to using Photoshop, so working with something that you're used to goes a long way. Is that right? I'm trying to check if the eyes are balanced. Sure, okay. This iris over here a little bit. Yeah, alrighty. Alrighty. It's okay. This eyebrow is a little. Decide if his hair needs to go up a little more. This is really nitpicky, but his bangs are not entirely balanced, so I'm gonna fix that real quick. Alright, there we go. Alrighty. Cool. Alright. And we're gonna add in some lashes. Pretty lashes. I add lashes on all my characters. So everybody I draw is wearing mascara. There we go. It's also a subtle detail, but I feel like it adds a little bit of texture and realism to your characters' faces. And you see, it looks really noticeable when you zoomed in like this, but if you zoom out, you really don't see it that much. So it's just a really subtle little thing. I'm mostly done with his face. So tweak. Tweak is now a little more. Tweak. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, you actually see a little indenture from his nostril at that angle. So it wasn't quite accurate enough to the perspective. I'm gonna add that in. Yeah, that's better. Alrighty. And some more detail. Save. Coffee. Ah. Should I get any more coffee? I'm gonna be running to the bathroom like crazy later. Hey. And let's see. Bring the edge of his brow in just a little bit. Like it sticks out a little too much. Nitpicking, nitpicking. Alrighty. And I'm gonna add some little texturing. Well, it's not really texturing, it's more, this is more shading. But like at because at this angle there's a pretty sharp turn in the shading around this line, like towards this plane of the face. So add like a line of shading right over here. Let's put that in. Later when I color this, I would color hold this to be a darker shade of the skin tone. So I'm kind of integrating into part of the colors. That looks weird. There we go. Ear is going out too much. Yeah, it's going out too much. Let's bring that in a little bit. Alrighty. Add some shading to ears as well. Because ears usually areas of the face where there's usually a little more blood pooling. It's the nose, cheeks, and the ears. So think of the spots that get like really red if you're out in the cold for a while. So you can add some more shading to the noses. Ears are always good for, ears are usually have the most blood pooling on like when someone is, you know, on like a normal basis. So I usually add some extra hatching. Ears like this. But also there's a lot of just detail and shadows cast over here. So have some fun with the texturing. Just like that. Add a little shine as well. Yep. Yay. And also this edge. See just a tiny bit of that edge. So I'm gonna add a little bit of shadow right at the edge of his face. Just like that. Yay. Alrighty. Two. Cool. Alright, let's leave his face alone for now. For now. Let's do, what should we do next? What should I do next? I should save next. Let's save. Whee. Oh man. What's everyone doing, by the way? Is anyone else also working on comics, art stuff? Anybody drawing? I'm gonna finish this scarf. Let's do his scarf. Ah. Oh, Jeremy, you're working on a Stranger Things comic for fun? That's cool. That's cool. Does Stranger Things have a comic? I feel like they would have. I feel like there's almost no way they wouldn't have come out with the comic for Stranger Things. That was a good show. It was a good show. I feel like the 80s nostalgia doesn't really hit me because, well, I mean, I technically didn't grow up in the 80s, but also I didn't grow up in America. But still, I like the aesthetic. It's cute. It's a cool story. Season 2 was weird though. I feel like season 2 wasn't really as good as season 1. The first season was, oh, so good. So good. Such a cool story. It was like Little American Akira girl, basically. With a D&D monster that came from a different plane. Oh, season 3 comes out this week. I didn't even know that. I'm like not paying attention to anything right now. Yeah, I'm just buried in trying to get pages for Fiendish done. Cause I mean I want to have the preview book for Fiendish ready for New York Comic Con, but also on top of that, like there's like I have to finish this cover. I want to have the website ready, and like I want to get these pages done early while I have some like time when I have the opening in my schedule, right? So like I'm not doing like fan art or like anything else right now because like I might have some more work lined up, and if I'm doing that work I can't be working on Fiendish, and this is like a super detailed comic that takes, you know, every page takes me forever to do, so whew, I'm basically, long story short, I'm not paying attention to the world right now. But on another note, speaking of New York Comic Con, I'm open for pre-commissions now. Yay! So if anybody is going to be in New York and would like to request a commission ahead of time, let me know. Send me that email. Yeah. I think I'll take like about 5 or 6 spots for now. But yeah, man. Opening up my pre-commissions for New York. Gotta start doing my travel planning for that. Do it ahead of time. Ugh, don't you love con organizing? Ugh, so much work. So much work. Alright. Maybe some shadow there. Come to Austin? I mean, I love to be back in Austin, but I don't really have a reason to go back. I can go visit friends. I lived in Austin for a couple of years, you know. I love to visit Austin, but I don't really have a reason, because pretty much the only reason I travel right now is for conventions. So it's always like I'm always traveling for work. The only place I'm thinking of traveling for fun is like, I would really like to go to Iceland. That'll be fun. That seems like a fun place. Because I hate the cold, so I'm just going to go and freeze my ass off because I'm apparently a masochist. But also I haven't been to Europe yet. So, but Yes, visiting friends. Visiting friends is good. Sometime I'll be back in Austin. LA is a possibility. I'm not in California very often. I fly through LA all the time, going to the East Coast of the US, but it's just like, I'm just in the airport, that's it. I mean, I can have a long layover and visit some friends, but I kind of don't like LA very much. Apparently either people love it or hate it. I've only visited I visited a bunch of times, but it's never left a very good impression on me. But maybe I just had bad luck. Maybe it's a very nice city. I didn't like it though. Blah. Yeah, I want to go to Europe. I haven't been to Europe yet. Well, Britain's not really Europe, but I do also want to go to Britain. Or just all over the UK in general. I heard Ireland is super pretty. So... Sorry, Tim. LA has left a bad impression on me, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I just had bad luck. I'm sure it can be a very nice town. Yeah, I want to go to UK, Ireland, and then continental Europe. Let's see. I mainly just want to go to Germany and Poland to, I don't know. Even though, like, my family's like 5th generation immigrants. I'm part German and Polish, so just want to get in touch with my German side, go drink a lot of beer, get really smashed. I don't know. It'll be fun. It'll be cool though. I really want to see Eastern Europe as well. And Iceland, just because Iceland is just so cool. Like, it's just, I've seen pictures and like all my friends that have been there just said it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I love the history of it. There's so many sites I want to see in Iceland. If I get the chance, when I have the time and money, I'm definitely going to do a trip to Iceland. It's not like a particularly just like one bad experience in LA. LA didn't really leave a favorable impression on me. I don't know, it's really congested, kind of dirty. People are assholes. Hollywood is gross. I'm sorry, Californians. I'm sure it can be nice too. I have friends who live there and they love it. There's a lot of work opportunities, so, you know, there's money, I guess. Yeah. Oops. I need to erase that. I mean, I don't know, it must be, LA doesn't really have, like, sentimental value to me. Like, I mean, New York is also crowded and gross, but I love New York, but I don't know, there's more sentimental value to me going to New York, because my family's from there, I've been going there since I was a kid, and I'm just like, I shut out the craziness, and like, I just take in the good parts, you know, the big, like, the culture, and like all the different people, and like just the sense of so much life going on everywhere. And I like New York City. I like New York City because another thing is it is really convenient. As like crowded and as crowded as it can be, it's convenient as hell, which LA is not. Like in New York, you can basically get everywhere just walking or taking the train. And like I like the sense of just having so much going on all around you. So there's so much life and it's so interesting. I love New York. Not LA though. My impression of LA is it's really inconvenient. But I do have friends there. I'll go to visit. I like my friends, obviously. Look at me trash talking LA. And get a hate mail from people who grew up in LA later. Ah. Let's see. Trying to add some wrinkles in the scarf. Nice and wrinkly. See, the motion for the figures here is, well, the idea is they're writing the deer thing, but it had just stopped, so it's like their clothes are kind of moving towards this direction, but like it's sort of they're stopping, so the clothes are kind of going like this. So you notice like the scarf kind of is tilting this way a little bit, his sleeve is going out a little, but not too much. They're in the process of stopping, so I'm keeping that in mind when I'm drawing all the objects and stuff. It's just like doing animation. It's a little secondary movements. That's something you have to keep in mind for comics as well. Yeah, and LA does seem to get the love-hate thing, doesn't it? Sorry. Let's see, what cities do I like? Yeah, I like New York. I like Atlanta just because I lived there for so long and I know it really well, you know? Especially now that it's more convenient and it's kind of been like done up a little bit since there's been city's gotten a little more money from the film industry. But I feel like maybe it's just, maybe it's just my bias because I'm really used to it. Let me save. Sweet. Let me blow my nose. Ugh. Excuse me. Like I said, I still have a mild cold, so if I'm gross, apologize. Gross. Oh, you're off to work? Thanks for joining, Tim. I'll see you around next time. Glad you can join. Have a good night/day, whichever part of the world you're in. I guess night if you're in America. A little texture here and there. Boop, 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 boop. Gotta have some texture on the scarf as well. Pew! Yay! Textures everywhere! Ah. There. Ah! Stupid computer. Alright. It's got part of the deer's head is going over his clothes there, but I'll just mask it out later. I'll just draw it in anyways. I do use a lot of layer masks while I work, so I'll probably just have each figure on a separate layer or a separate group and then just mask out any overlaps between like the deer thing and Ivar and Yomi. So you're on separate planes. There we go. Make sure to have kind of thicker lines where the scarf would, texture of the scarf would be in more shadow. Oh, God, that's annoying. It's mostly, alright, that's the base of the scarf mostly done. I'll be adding some more texture to the scarf, but that's like really, I'll do that later. That's like super detailed work that'll just be really boring to watch. I'll come back to it. Tired of the scarf, tired of it. What should we do now? What should we do now? Let's see. I'm gonna, let's texture in his eyes. So, here we go. First, let me clear my cache. Wonderful. Alright, so let's see. The light source would be coming kind of from above, so I would put the reflection on his pupils right here, like that. It's a little too big. Shiny, shiny eyes. Ah. Ooh. Shiny. Okay. And then I'm not sure how to explain how I do like textures for irises, except I'm gonna do this radial pattern. I started with like a little ring around the edge, and it depends on how dark the eyes are. So obviously if someone has lighter eyes, I do a little less texturing. Same logic as the hair, but for see, Eva has kind of like dark hazel eyes, so they're not that light, so I can do a lot of texturing on him. So first I add this kind of a ring around the outer part of the eye. Like, I just noticed it adds more life to how the pupil looks. Iris. And then add kind of a texture like this. And if I was drawing a lighter colored eye, I would do thinner lines and I kind of like knock back the opacity a bit. Because you want to convey value and lighting in your inks as well. Because inking is not, contrary to popular opinion, just tracing the pencil lines or just doing the outlines. No, inking is a lot more than that. It's like it's a very weird process, but if you want to get really detailed and very layered and deep into inking and really do complicated inks that aren't sort of just getting the job done, you know what I mean? There's a lot you can do with it, and you can add shading, you can add value, you can add texture, and you can add basically everything except color. But even if you do inks right, you can convey, like, you can infer color, like, you know, like a certain level of texturing on hair, for example, hints that this person has red hair or brown hair. Obviously black hair is easy to convey, but yeah, these are all, if you really think about it and put your mind to it, there's a lot you can do with inks. So it's not just tracing pencil lines, which a lot of people think it is. It's not. And you can convey motion as well, though that's more in the drafting stage, right? When you design the shape language of your figures and stuff, you want to draw the weight and the force into your figures. So that's not so much inking as like having good draftsmanship. Be a little darker. And I stagger these little iris lines a little bit, because if you look really closely at your irises, it's literally a muscle. So the pupil is literally a hole to the back of your eyes that opens up into your retina, but your iris around it is like a muscle that contracts to adjust the aperture of your pupil, and it makes this texture. So that's kind of what I'm drawing right now, and I'm using like the thickness and density of the lines to also convey the color of the eyes a little bit, or the value, I'd say. But since it's an organic, obviously, kind of structure, and if you look closely in the mirror, it's like very staggered. It's not like completely even, right? So I'm making sure to stagger this texture a little bit as well. So you don't want everything to be perfectly uniform and even. Starts looking unnatural. And also add some little lines here, right around the pupil. All right, there we go. There we go. And you do this right if you kind of stagger the lines a little bit. Also keep in mind to have more darker lines towards the top, because the eyelid is throwing a slight shadow onto the pupil. Iris. I keep on saying the wrong thing. So just so Just so. Alrighty. Knock that back a little. Alright, now let's do the same to the other side. Other side. If the two eyes are balanced, more or less. And the lines at the center. Tiny, tiny, super detailed lines. Oh my god. Too much detail, me. What? Never. I think that's decent. Let me knock back that texture at the bottom a little. Darken up the top a bit. I think that's all right. Pew, pew, pew. Alright. Hey. We're almost done with his eyes. His eyes are a little too big. I'll fix that later though. I'll just merge everything and shrink his eyes slightly. Corner of his eye comes in a little too much. Done. That looks weird. Jeremy asks, how many pages will this book be? It's a long form comic. So, yeah, Fiendish is it's a long form fantasy comic. It's pretty low concept. The general premise is a bunch of basically misfits and weirdos. They set out on a journey to avenge the deaths of loved ones at the hands of mysterious monsters. So, it's a lot of world building. It's thoroughly fantasy. A lot of action, monsters, blood. I tell people, if you like sexy people killing sexy monsters, you'll like this comic. But the length will be long. And I know everybody says, don't do a super long comic with a lot of work. That's a super long story that involves years of work for your first comic. Well, I don't like listening to advice from other people, so I will do what I want. 500 pages only? Jeremy. No. This project, I'm planning for it to take, I think I could probably be done in like 10 years or so. But, well, we always like way underestimate how many pages we need. It's all comic artists do it, so it'll probably take me longer. But no, this is a long form project. This is something I'm committing to for the next, I don't know, section of my entire life, man. So, no, it's not just one book that's 500 pages. It's gonna be multiple books. It's broken up into 3 arcs. So, arc 1 is a little shorter. It's just, I'm easing the readers into the story. I don't want to pile on just a ton of world building, right? Arc 1 is just sort of the characters discovering the mystery and the readers discovering the mystery along with them. So it's I'm easing them into the world building and getting them to know the characters. So arc 1, I don't know how many pages, let me estimate. I only have chapter 1 thumbnailed, and chapter 2 I'm working on thumbnailing, and I'll have really long chapters. So the chapters are about 40 to 45 pages. And the first arc will be about 10 to 12 chapters. Maybe 10. I think 10 chapters. So 400 pages or so for the first arc, or a little over. Second and third arcs will be about 2 or 3 times that length. I'm estimating from the summary that I've done, because I have like just pages, like literally hundreds of pages of notes on everything, and I know everything that's going to happen, but I need to collect my notes on all the arcs into like one concise summary, right? Because I just have like a lot of notes scattered everywhere, because I've done a lot of editing and revisiting scenes and all that kind of stuff. So be honest, it's a long form fantasy comic, and follow me if you want to come along for this crazy journey. I have crazy ideas, and I'm mildly obsessive, so nobody else in their right mind would do something like this for their first comic. And the thing is, I didn't set out to do like 1 million pages, Jeremy. I don't think. I don't know. Like, page count isn't important. What's important is getting the story done. So I'm just gonna do as many pages as I need to, you know. But no, this is. Yeah, I didn't set out to do like a huge, super long story. It was just, the idea came to me, and I really wanted to do it, and it turned out to be, you know, kind of a long story, but I'm not trying to make it long. I'm actually trying to make it shorter and concise, and I'm not overwriting anything. I hate overwriting. I cut out, because I don't want to do extra work. I don't want to draw things that I don't need to draw. So I'm cutting out, like, you know, as much as I can. I've already cut out some stuff that's unnecessary. But I mean, it's the type of story I want to tell. It's just it starts out as these characters are investigating where these monsters came from, but of course it leads to the main source of conflict of the story, or the main antagonist isn't just the monsters, and there's somebody that brought the monsters back, that's controlling the monsters and using them for a greater purpose, and that's the major conflict that we get into in Arc 2 and Arc 3. So, because, I mean, having a monster story is all well and good, but there's only so much you can do with that, right? So there's a lot more to this story than just fighting monsters, even though that's a big part of it, because I want like the horror element, you know, I want that otherworldly horror element, and the monsters kind of, in my mind, they represent something or another, but there's, you know, readers don't want to hear me explain all that. Just to me, the monsters like have their own symbolism. But yeah, they're not the main villain. The main villain is somebody else, but you'll find out if you follow the comic. That is a mystery that will be revealed to you for you to see. Ha 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 ha. His hair still looks... His hair looks weird! Ah! My god. Alright. Stop nitpicking! What should I do next? Should I finish? Let's see. I think I'll do a little work on Yomi. It's getting pretty late, isn't it? What do you guys want to see? You guys want to see some, should I work on Yomi a little bit, or, what else should I do? Let me start on Yomi as well. Oh, it's not 12 yet. Alright. Yeah. Let me zoom out just so everyone can see. And save. Actually, I should share this stream. Let me make sure I've shared this. Oh no. On Twitter. Give me 1 second. Super professional. Super professional. Ah. Now, what do you guys want to see? Should I do the deer or finish drawing Yomi as well? What's so funny, Jeremy? How do I get a shareable link? Share. You know what? I give up. Nothing is working. So professional, so well planned. I know exactly what I'm doing, y'all. think I'll keep on, let's see, let's do Yomi. Yeah. Let's just keep on going. I don't need a break. What's a break? I don't take breaks. Alrighty. So I'm gonna group all these layers. Alright. Ooh, hi Chris. Sup? Welcome. Welcome to the art party. All y'all night owls. Liar? What am I lying about? I know nothing? Yeah, I do know nothing. I am apparently a bastard from Winterfell. I don't know. That's lame. Oh my god, I'm so lame. Alright, I will, let's see. Yeah, I don't need food. I don't need a break. I'll just keep on streaming until I finish Yomi as well. Why not? Why not? Who needs a break? Are you drawing too, Chris? Cool. What are you working on? I saw some sculptures you did. Those look great. Well, it's not that hard to stream on Facebook. You just have to... Well, I stream through OBS. So... And same thing I use for YouTube, and it's really cool. You plug in the stream key from different platforms, and then you stream through the actual broadcasting software, which is what OBS is. It's open broadcasting software. So it's cool because you can adjust your audio input and output, and you can add, like, that's how I do my little, setup. Like, I have my camera, and then my little banner for my comic, and then my little GIFs at the bottom, and then my banner stuff. So that's how I do my little setup over here. There's like an interface. You can do like different scenes and stuff in OBS. You're drawing Pokemon? Cool. Hey, Pokemon. Was that movie any good? There's the Pokemon movie that came out, right? Detective Pikachu. I haven't seen it because I'm lame and I don't get out. But oh, Picarto. Okay. You use Picarto? Oh, you're sculpting one of my demons. Yay! Oh my gosh, I want to see. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to sculpting them yet. I would like to get back to sculpting, but hey, I have a comic to draw and that takes a lot of time. Maybe when I have like a certain spot, like a cutoff point in my comic where it's like, okay, if I get to this point, I can relax a little bit, right? So if I can get to like about page 20 or so, I'll be able to chill a little bit, and I can like do some extra work, extra pieces and extra character designs and stuff to for like the special preview book. I can do a sculpture of one of my monsters, because I want to do like all this supplemental stuff, but like getting the pages done is the most important thing, and I'm doing everything myself, so it's kind of a lot of work. Kind of a lot of work. Just kind of. You said your OBS is outdated, Chris? It won't take the Facebook stream code? You can do it manually. You can have a custom server or whatever. You just plug it in, copy and paste it. Or maybe you need to update your OBS. There are a lot of updates all the time, so maybe just reinstall it and see if it works better for you. Oh, I forgot, she should have earrings. What kind of earrings should I give her? I guess just simple little rings. Forgot to sketch earrings on her. Let's see. Doing. Just do some simple earrings. In another drawing over, I had like these big bangles. I gave her these like huge dangly earrings, but yeah, those kind of would get in the way. I don't think she'd be wearing those now. Even though that would look cool. Let me see. Maybe I should do bangles. It's a cover. You know what? Hell with it. I'll do some bangly big earrings. You know, screw practicality. Who cares about that? Chris, I'll hire you to do sculptures for my comic. Sure. Do it. Sculpt all the demons for me. I do miss sculpting, I really do. I still have all my materials for it, but art takes time. Art takes time. You can't update OBS without updating Windows, and you can't update Windows because of okay. Of questionably obtained software. Okay. Well, in that case, I wish you the best of luck. I don't know how to help you. But good luck. I hope you find a workaround. How should I have her? I don't know what. Stupid freaking keyboard lag. I hate everything. What shape should her earrings be in? I think I'll do like these. Yeah, I'll do earrings that are shaped like that. There we go. Kind of like teardroppy. Because her clothes are supposed to be like a little kind of Middle Eastern and performery, because she's a performer. So there we go. Oop. Oh, Photoshop. Why being silly? Again, I'll just mask out sort of any details on her that are behind Ivar. Not a lot of people online today. Is there something going on? How much do I like reading terrible story tests? Not very much, to be honest. Do you have story tests to show? You gotta sell yourself more, okay? You can't say your work is terrible if you're talking about your own story test. You gotta promote yourself, man. Have some more confidence. You gotta do it. Fake it till you make it. If you have story tests you want to show anyone, I'll read them. Send them over my way. Do you want like someone to just review them or critique them? I mean, I'm always down for that. Send them to me. No probs at all. Have some confidence. Market yourself. It's important. Your funny little ears. Hey Fur, what's up? Thanks for joining. My Twitter link downloaded an MPD file, really? I tried to send a link to the stream. Wow, I don't know what I'm doing at all. I'm sorry guys. Like, apparently I am 200% boomer. I have no idea how technology works. So, I have boomered the Twitter link. Glad you can still find the stream though. Welcome. Maybe I should try posting it again. Wait, let me check. Let me save this. Take a look. What? It goes to Oh, that's weird. I have no idea how to post it. I mean, I'll just post like my Facebook profile, I guess. Well, life is hard. Alright. Everything is terrible and hard. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I can do this. Alright. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me fix this link on Twitter. Because I didn't plan! Hey! Join my art stream. I'm inking a cover for my comic. Smiley face. Hey. Smiley, smiley. Alright. That should be the right one. Guess I'll delete the one that's downloads an MP3 file or whatever. I'm so great at this. Look at this. This is peak professionalism, you guys. Peak professionalism. Alright. Done screwing everything up. Let's get back to work. So smooth, so smooth. Yay! So if you guys are just joining, I am inking a cover for my comic Fiendish. And as you can see, I'm just doing the faces for the 2 characters for tonight. I know it's getting late over there because most people watching are over in the States. It's like noon where I am here now, so I'm probably just gonna draw until I get hungry. But I eat really late lunch, so I don't know. I'll probably be like on until 1 or so. I don't know. No idea. But yeah, I think for now I'll just finish Yomi's face over here. I just finished Ivar. I'll do Yomi and then we'll call it a day. So yeah. Yeah. And if you have any questions or comments, just type it in the chat. I'm keeping my eye on the chat on my phone over here, so just feel free to hop in and speak your mind. Hop in and speak your mind. See, again, the top edge of the ear over here has like a bigger indentation than most. Like right here, of course, like where the ear hole is, that's the darkest part of the ear, but this edge you see over here also has a pretty deep indentation. So you can go a little thicker on that specific line over there. And I have a lot of characters with like kind of elfish ears, but I try to vary the shape of it. So like for example, Yomi's ears have a particular curly look to it. They're not particularly long, but like in comparison to some of my other characters, but they kind of are a little flowy. They go in and out a little bit at the edge. So I make sure like every character that has ears like that have like kind of distinctive shape, because I feel like it's a little extra little thing. You can add a lot of character to someone, you know. You can add a lot of personality to a character by putting in little details like that. But see, for the back edge of the ear here, I just do kind of lighter lines because that's a very light indentation. And here as well, just some thinner lines like that. If it's a little too detailed, so I'm gonna knock that line back a little bit. Let's see, that's about right. Okay, thicken the edge of her face over here a little. Her cheek is coming out a little too much. Alright, let's add the other earring. They're kind of in motion on a deer/horse thing, so her other earring would be kind of swinging out as well. I forgot to draw the earrings in the sketch in case you guys missed that comment, but I'm adding them in now, so. Add a little depth to it. I'll add some more detail on the earrings later. Probably like some gemstones or little tassels on them. But I'll think about, I'm not sure what I'll add yet, so some simple shapes is good enough for now. And next, let's go to the eyes. Let's see. Should also. That's a really thin neck. Not too thin? I think this is right. Yeah, that's pretty much right. Cute. Alright. Now let's do her eyes. Got these big googly shiny eyes. So Yomi's story is basically she was her race, like I said, is called the Ulanke, and they're this kind of elvish, right? They're kind of elvish looking, but they have tails and like purple skin, and they're commonly sort of second-class citizens in the continent that the story takes place in. So they're almost all Ulanke are servants or slaves to humans in for as long as people can remember. And she was born a slave, but she was bought by a theater troupe who freed her when she came of age, and she decided to stay with them because she saw them as her family. And so she pretty much lived most of her life as a free woman, and she was surrounded by really kind humans who treated her well. And she saw like this traveling theater troupe that she grew up with as her adopted family. But while they were traveling in in the country where Ivar and Casimir are from, that's my main character, and Ivar is the boy up front over here. They're from a country called Valden, and while Yomi and her theater troupe, they're kind of from the south, kind of a more like Indian Persian country called the Bashkar Empire. While they were traveling in Valden, they were attacked by these monsters, well, one monster that Ivar and Casimir were tracking. So pretty much, I'm not sure if I want to kill everyone in the theater troupe yet, but most of her friends in the theater troupe were killed or crippled, and so she was pretty much left on her own. And especially, most importantly, the theater troupe owner who freed Yomi and who was kind of a father figure to her was killed by the monster. So she decides that since she's on her own, she doesn't really have anywhere else to go. She wants to come along with Casimir and Ivar on their journey to find out where the monsters are from and to avenge her adopted family. So even though she doesn't really have like a particular skill set for like fighting monsters or whatever, and she's not really good at survival, she's kind of a normal girl, but her journey is about learning to fight and learning to be stronger, and because she wants to be able to avenge her family, her adopted family, and she doesn't ever want to like feel sort of she doesn't want to feel like she's victimized and she's unable to protect the people around her again. So that's in general, the summary for her story. And I like her character a lot because she's super animated and she's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to be introducing her into the story at the end of this chapter. She's fun. She's adorable. She's my moe character. She's my cutesy moe character. Oh, you gotta go, Chris? Thanks for joining. Yeah, I'd love to see that sculpture of the demon you're doing. Show me some pictures later. Have a good night. It's getting pretty late over there, isn't it? It's like midnight over on the East Coast. See your big old googly eyes. Big old googly eyes. So Yomi's story it's basically a journey about, like, I have a lot of characters whose journey is about becoming stronger, right? Like that's kind of part of Ivar's journey as well. Ivar, who's the character over here, once again, his journey is kind of his development is partially about becoming stronger, and that's sort of a common theme I have for especially a lot of the younger characters. But for him as well, what he really wants is to find a family and to find a group and a family where he can belong to. And because he's never really had that. His background is he's literally the stepchild of his family, and his own birth mother doesn't really like him, so he doesn't get along with his family, and that's why he decided to become an apprentice under Casimir and learn sort of a trade that would give himself some freedom and would make him independent. But yeah, like he's never had somewhere to belong to, so that's his goal. That's what he wants. And Yomi also, it'll be a little spoilery to say what other role she plays in the story, but her core conflict is about wanting to avenge her friends. And of course later on, when we get more into the when after arc 1, where we excuse me, where it's revealed who is controlling the monsters and all that, she plays like a much bigger role and sort of as a mediating character, and sort of acting as a go-between, because there's like, I don't want to spoil too much, but someone is controlling the monsters, and this person basically wants an end to, well, not like kill all humans, but they want to take over the current human empire, the current kingdom that's in power. So, but they want to do that through just very extremely violent means. So I'm not explaining it very well, but it will be much cooler when I actually draw it out and I can explain all the details without spoiling things. But yeah, she plays a pretty important role, and I'm really looking forward to drawing her development. She's fun. See her eyes balanced. Yeah, it's more or less balanced. It's getting pretty late, isn't it? Let me finish her Let me see, let me get her, it looks weird if I don't finish her nose, so let me finish her eyelids and nose. I'll probably call it a night because it's getting pretty late over in the States, and it's like lunchtime for me over here, so maybe I should go find something to eat, even though like I have a terrible schedule and I'm not hungry yet. But I should go get food. Food's important, right? Yeah. There we go. Add some more details. Ah! I swear. As I said, my keyboard has this weird lag. And I really need to upgrade my hardware. Alright. Oops. Oh my gosh. I hate this. Also probably because I've been streaming for so long. I think my computer's getting a little, trying to give me some sass. Let's get her nose. She's got like this really small nose. Kind of like a big dip over here. And a short little nose. Very properly moe. Proper mower. I do proper mowing. Add a little shading to the tip of her nose. Right there. Like that. Knock that back a little bit. It's a little too prominent. Alright. Eyelid. Ah! Okay. Whoop. Nose ridge looks a little weird. Again, thicken the lines towards the tops of the pupil. Just a little bit. just slightly. I'll give her kind of bigger pupils, or the top of the iris, I mean, but bigger pupils. There's a tip: if you want things to look cute, give them like really big pupils. Well, I mean, give them just big eyes, big irises, big pupils, everything. But if the pupils of a character, animal, whatever are wide or bigger, I'm not sure what the psychology is behind it, but it looks friendlier. So that's another quick way to make something look adorable. The art of making things cute. Yay! Basically, this comic is just going to be. I've had people tell me I draw like my characters way too adorable, like even like characters that aren't supposed to be cute. They're like, oh, you make your like big beefy barbarian men so adorable. So basically, what this comic is going to be is just cute people fighting really gross slimy monsters. So there you go. That'll be fun. I like that though. I like putting like really gross things next to like super adorable pretty things. It's such a fun contrast. So much fun. Let's see, her iris looks weird. Looks weird. Let's see. The line is a little uneven over there. Ah. Alright. Do that real quick. Does that look strange? It's a little too big. Kind of shave that down a little bit. Add that glint over here. A little glint over here. Oh no, her left iris needs to move over towards the center a little more. Doop. Just move it over. Just a little. There we go. Yay! Bum, 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 bum. Just like that. Oh my gosh. Is that symmetrical? I think it is. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's symmetrical, right? Sure. I know what I'm doing. Here. Ba, 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 ba. That was a little off. Thicken that line over there a little. Matthew asks, is this our favorite program, Clip Studio Paint? It is not. This is Photoshop. Sorry. I do have Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, if you're just joining, I was telling someone earlier, I have Manga Studio. I think it's an older version, so I actually have Manga Studio instead of Clip Studio Paint. But I did use it for a while, but I think Photoshop upgraded like a year or so ago to a newer version that had better smoothing. I used to use Manga Studio because Manga Studio had like built-in smoothing for inking that was just really good, and the ink brushes just had way better sensitivity. But Photoshop must have upgraded or something, because the smoothing of Photoshop improved. So pretty much nowadays I just use Photoshop. And it's mostly because I just know Photoshop better. I've been using it for like half my life. So like it just, I don't even have to think anymore when I use it. I just know like the back of my hand. And I might still use Manga Studio for exporting. It's a good program. I like it. And what's nice about Manga Studio is it has sort of, you can combine multiple pages. It's kind of like you have some like semi-InDesign-ish elements because it's made for doing comics. So I might be doing some lettering in it. I might be doing the compiling and exporting and stuff in it. Or I could just use InDesign, to be honest. But man, Adobe just has everything covered, to be honest. But I don't know, unless there's some new tools in newer versions of Clip Studio Paint that I'm not aware of that they're offering that kind of give them a leg up over Photoshop. I've been working pretty well with Photoshop for now. Maybe they absorb laziness in me. I don't know if Photoshop absorbed laziness in me. I don't think so, because I just installed Photoshop on I just upgraded my Photoshop on my my Surface Pro to the newest version, and it still didn't have very good smoothing. It might be the Cintiq. It might be the Cintiq driver that's what upgraded, because I'm working on a Cintiq right now. And on my Surface Pro, the line quality was still crap, and I had to separately install Lazy Nezumi to balance things out. So, not particularly sure what it is. But in any case, oh no, I like Manga Studio. Another thing that, I mean, I don't use the 3D models that come with it, but Manga Studio does have 3D models that comes with it. So if you need like help posing characters ever, if you need like a base, 3D model, Manga Studio has that built in. So if you're someone that would prefer to have something like that, I mean, it's a very basic like, body form, and it's only like one body shape, but yeah, it's better than nothing. It's good for some support if you find yourself needing help drawing perspective, like anatomical perspective and stuff. Matthew, you use Clip Studio on the iPad Pro. Oh, I've heard the iPad has really good drawing compatibility. It has like nice pressure sensitivity and whatever. I don't use Apple products as a rule. It's not like out of any particular, ooh, I'm protesting Apple. I've never owned any Apple products. So it's kind of just a meme at this point. I'm just going to like go as long as I can without buying anything from Apple. So I don't think I even have an iTunes account. I never had an iPhone. I never had an iPod. Absolutely nothing, not even Apple earphones. I don't particularly hate it. I've used Apple in college because all of our computers were Macs. But frankly, I didn't like it. I like using Windows because it feels more hands-on and I can customize things. Yeah, I do have a Surface Pro, and a Surface Pro is pretty good. But Wacom is still better. It doesn't make that big of a difference if you're doing coloring, but inking, yeah. With inking, you really feel the difference in pressure sensitivity and in the different pens and all that, and it's much more nuanced, so yeah. It's hard to escape, even a small difference you feel if you're doing primarily ink work. Do you use the iPad Pro for painting or coloring mainly, Matthew? I've been considering getting the new redonkulously expensive Wacom computer, the Studio Pro, that basically asks you to pay for, give them a arm and a leg and your firstborn child and you can have this computer. It's like $3,000. I mean, like the base model is about $3,000. It's ridiculous, but it looks so good and I really want it because I have a Cintiq Companion now and it's pretty good, but this thing is old as heck. It's like 6 years old. So I've been able to manage pretty well with it, but also it's 6 years old. So So yeah, there's that, and it does make a difference. So my main problem is I would like something with a newer graphics processor. I can tell like the newer programs really, like newer versions of Photoshop really tax this machine. Like 6 years is a lot of time for technology to evolve. So, and I have a model that only has 8 gigs of RAM because I was poor when I bought it, so I didn't want to drop that much money on it. I should have gotten 16 gigs, but I really need 16 gigs of RAM at this point. Like I can work with 8 gigs. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of lag, and I have to like shut everything down and constantly wipe my caches while I'm streaming, because that's the only way I can manage. And it's like I've kind of gotten used to it. It doesn't crash or anything, but it's a pain in the ass. So I'm considering getting the Studio Pro, but I don't know yet if I want to sell an arm and a leg on my firstborn child. So yeah, I don't know. We're still negotiating, Wacom. You got to give me a better deal. It's insane. So the base model is like $3,000, $4,000, and I think you can juice it up to get like the i7 with like, there's like apparently one that has a 3D camera on the back, which I heard is completely useless, but like there's a 3D camera on the back. Okay, you guys are insane. And that's like, I think, what does that cost? $5,000 or $6,000? Completely nuts. Ooh, that doesn't look right. I like her eyebrow. Goes up a little too much. I'm gonna give her like these big expressive eyebrows. I like expressive characters. Expressive characters are fun. There we go. Yeah. Whew. Matthew says you want the new Cintiq models, but you have no studio space for it. Oh, yeah, the newer. You mean the big Cintiq, like the big whatever screen things, like that are 24, 25 inches. Yeah, those look real sweet. But I mean, I have the space for it, but also I don't even have a tower. Like my Cintiq Companion is my main computer, which is probably a dumb idea, but it's worked well for me. It's also because I'm really mobile. I move a lot. I want something I can bring along with me to conventions. So yeah, this thing is, I've always had a laptop. Like before I got my Companion, I had a tower for a while, but I kind of hated it. I would own gaming laptops. I would just hook up an Intuos to my gaming laptop, and that's how I'd work. But I owned a desktop for a while. I had like a Cintiq 21UX, super old thing that I bought in like 2010 or something like that, way back when. Then I sold that and used that money to buy my Companion. I've been using my Companion ever since. I have a Surface Pro as my backup computer, but yeah, that's it. That's all I have. I really should get a newer computer. I know. Now I'm noodling on her eyebrows. The Cintiqs are clunkers. Yeah, everything Wacom makes is a clunker. They're only like, I looked at the stats for the Studio Pro, and it's like, oh, this thing is only about the weight of a headstone, and it costs like as much as a small kingdom. It's only mildly ridiculous. Really though, they're good computers, and they're built to last forever. So, you know, I think it's worth the money, but it really is a lot of money. All right, guys, it's getting late. I think this is a good place to stop for today. It's about 12:30 here, and it's time I went to actually find some food, and I need to replenish my coffee stash. So let's see. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out so you guys can see the full cover. Yay! Look, my cover. Ho 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 ho. Let's see. Yay! But I will continue working on this cover, and I'll post the finished inks and colors and stuff on Facebook, Twitter, for everybody to see when I'm done. But yeah, and the stream will be up after I end it. I'll keep it out so everyone can go back and watch the beginning if you want to see my process for when I began, and see how all that went. Thank you guys for joining. If you like this stream, if you find my comic interesting, please help me share my stream, help me share the page for my comic, help me get my word out, because that's what I'm working on now. I'm trying to find an audience, and I'm trying to just let everybody know about this project. I'm really passionate about it. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, any support I would really, really appreciate. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Rini Draws. You can see the link is right over there. Let me put my little sparkle thing on. And I think I'll be doing more of these streams. I think my next stream will be Thursday night on Facebook, I think. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, y'all. Mwah.